Hey guys, welcome in to Come Cook with Joe this week. Special edition on Wednesday instead of Thursday, which is kind of fun. Tonight we are doing the Cajun chicken pasta. So again, I apologize for the inconvenience of going a day earlier. I know it's going to throw everybody off because they're used to cooking with me on Thursday. And so now they've got an extra day in the week that they're going to have to go to work and think, oh, it's not. So I apologize. Yes, Kim said except for me because I'm not going to be at work on Friday. So tonight's going to be kind of easy. It's maybe half an hour long. It takes about half time to prep, half time to cook because we're doing a one skillet type meal. So everything's going to be cooked in our chartreuse, which is, again, the high wall frying pan with a tight fitting lid. So we've got those set here aside with our wooden spoon so we can deal with those. We have, tonight, we've got our onion, we've got our scallion. We've got 3 different bell peppers. Sort of had some fun with it, so I went yellow, green, and red. So that'll be kind of nice. We've got some ziti, so it's here and ready to go in. I've got some olive oil. I told you tonight you can either use Cajun seasoning or you can use Creole. And Emerald's Essence does a really good job as a Creole. So I'm going to add a little bit of both just to mix some things up. We've got our heavy cream here, which is a half a cup. We've got 2 cups of our chicken broth. We've got our garlic ready to go. We've got our Monterey Jack cheese. We use some smoked sausage. I use the andouille. You didn't have to. You could just pick up regular smoke, but I liked a little bit of spice on the andouille. And then I've got my chicken, which is our proteins. So we'll go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and get prepped up. So again, like I said, we've got the vegetables that come up first. So the one thing we're going to do is start on our peppers. So again, the 3 bumps, which is the male, which holds up better whenever you're cooking. So always remember to if you're cooking the pepper, to always grab you one with 3 bumps. If you want to eat it without cooking, then of course grab the female pepper, which has 4 bumps. So that's just an easy way to remember those things. So the female peppers are a little bit more sweet, and the male peppers again hold up better whenever you're cooking. So I can get those seeds off of there. So hopefully everybody's had a good week this week. Who? Your mom. Oh, hi, Mom. So it's tomorrow is going to be busy for me because I'm prepping out a lot of food for Friday. So we're having some friends over. And just needed to prep as much as I could. So we're going to get through this, and then what we're going to do after we get these vegetables chopped up is before we start chopping up on the proteins, we'll go ahead and get that oil on, and that way the oil can start getting hot while we chop that stuff up, because I want that oil to be nice and almost smoky whenever we add the proteins, which is our sausage and our chicken.
Penelope Harless says hello, Mr. and Mrs. Rickett.
Oh, hi, Penny. Penny is our guidance counselor at school. Yeah, right. My wife's a guidance counselor, so you guys share something in common.
Except she's got adults and I've got elementary.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes it might be the same.
And probably close to the same, yeah. Kim said she's at the elementary, and Penny, of course, is teaching adults, and she made the comment that it's probably the same thing or close to it sometimes, and she's absolutely right. So I've got a couple paper plates just to make the cutting easier, so I'm going to clean my cutting board and get these here on the cutting board because I had them cut. Kim's asking why I have rubber gloves. Basically, guys, whenever I get started dealing with the chicken, I'm going to put one on just so that I don't totally destroy my bandage. Of course, if I was working in food service in an actual restaurant, then I would be wearing it right now. But since it's just me and Kim that we're eating, I was just trying to save the bandage for the chicken juices. So again, guys, we're just going to cut up these bell peppers, get them diced. Penny, I believe, is getting ready to take a trip, and
it is the same maturity level.
Yeah. So it is sometimes. Sometimes we deal with the guys that just aren't totally there yet. She deals with it a whole lot more.
You'll probably see it.
Right. Kim says we'll probably have some of her students that show up. So yeah, but I'm glad that this time together has really helped some of you guys. It has definitely helped me. Just to sort of break the monotony and just to come into the house and cook with you guys has been a blast. Hopefully some of you guys have picked some stuff up as we went, learned some new techniques or maybe some new terminology and technical stuff. I know we've learned a lot from each other. You guys have pushed me to find some pretty fun recipes. All right, we've got our red and our green cut up now. Like I said, this could all be the same color, but because I mean it's pretty much all the same flavor, same texture, just a different look. So this is going to be kind of fun tonight with all the different colors in there, I think. Got my trash bag there so I can throw all my trash in there and my cuts. I can just throw those all away at one time. Unless you're out there and you have a compost pile, then you can add those to your compost pile. Those that like to garden and self-fertilize. So I have started in this next semester or this next term into natural science. And that's been a pretty fun course, just to see all the different stuff that science is bringing around. Interesting topics.
You're just glad the last trimester is over.
Yes, Kim says, I'm just glad the last trimester is over. And that is totally true because I was in introduction to marketing, and I tell you what, that was a nightmare of a class. So I'm just glad it's over with. Now I just have to concentrate on once I get to marketing. All right, guys. We got our peppers cut up. So the prep work is really going to be the hardest, longest part of this entire ordeal, I think. Just because there's simply so much to prep. So I'm going to go ahead and take this plate with all of our peppers on it. I'm going to set it over here next to our stove. Put my lid right over here. Okay, now, since we got those done, let's start working on our onions and our scallion. So, again, the onion is going to have the onion taste. Everyone knows what onion tastes like. A lot of people don't deal a lot with scallion sometimes, I don't think. So, it's more of a pepper flavor. Peppery onion, yeah, Kim said, which is a good observation. So one thing that you can do tonight, guys, basically what we're going to do is we're going to throw the scallions in with the onions. But another way that you can finish this dish is actually is just set them aside. So you can slice those up real thin like what we're going to do tonight. But you can set those aside. And then what you can do after you cook your product, and I'll show you when we would do it. But then you would just basically throw the scallions on top.
George was scared you were going to drop your knife.
And then George was scared I was going to drop my knife. Well, if I was going to drop it, it was going to go, so I wasn't going to catch it. With the scallions, though, once you do that, you can, like I said, I'll show you when I was going to do it. And you can actually just add those on top. So that's another thing that you can do, which is kind of nice. And then broil it. But I'm not using the pan I can broil with tonight. So we're just going to try to make that a little bit easier, just for the sake of time and presentation. And then, like I said, I will talk you through the different finish tonight whenever we get to that point.
I think it was more where you were going to cut it go off because you have one flip.
I'm sorry?
Ivana.
Ivana? Hi, Ivana. Yeah, I got home, I got changed, I threw on my flip-flops, and Kim said she thinks that's what George might be concerned about, is that I might drop my knife on my toe and cut my toes off.
don't live far from Swing.
Kim says we don't live far from Swing, which is a hospital up here by us. All right, guys. Onions cut. I'm going to drop it right here.
Your mom says that you need to watch Robert Irvine cut an onion. It's really neat.
Sure.
And he's asking what kind of cutting board is that?
Oh my. Penny, I found these at Kroger's on clearance. We've got a clearance table. It was a pack of 3. It was a black one, a gray one, and a white one. And I can't even remember how much they were. But me geeking out in the kitchen, I was like, oh, I have to have these cutting boards because they were really nice. Now, the bad part about these is they slide a lot, especially on a smooth surface. So my trick is, like what you might be seeing, is that I've got my wet paper towels. And the wet paper towel will actually hold it so it won't slide. So just bear that in mind if you have a cutting board that likes to slide around on the tabletop or the surface that you're cutting on. That's just a trick of the trade, and it sort of really helps to hold that cutting board still so you don't lose it and cut your finger with your knife, especially if your knife is sharp like it should be. So I'm just peeling this scallion out, and then once I get done with this, you guys will see there's 2 different parts inside of a scallion. We'll use both of those parts tonight. It calls for 1/3 of a cup. So this scallion was pretty decent size, so I'm just going to go with that. So, all right. Top and bottom. And we'll open that up. So I think. And as you see inside, it's wanting to make me a liar. Inside there are 2 separate parts. So again, we're going to use both those parts. And what you're going to do is you're going to come in and you're going to slice those real thin. And then again, you can either, what we're going to do with these tonight is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and come back into these. And I'm going to basically mince these. And then we are going to just throw those in with the onions. Boy, these are really sharp tonight. Woo! I'm going to go ahead and take out these last 2 shells too. But if you're going to add them in on top at the end, then just leave them ringed out. Okay, so basically what you come in here to do is you just come in and wring these puppies out. And then that's what you'd throw on top of your finished product. But like I said, tonight what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and come in here. And I'm going to mince these a little bit. And then we're just going to use these in the end. So that's actually a couple bad parts. All right. Don't need to worry about too much if you've got some bigger parts in there. Again, this is all going to go into the onion step, and it's going to be cooked in, so that's fine too. So I've got some peppers underneath of my cutting board. That's why it's not staying still for me. Let's see if we can get those out of here. All right. Okay. Now we've got our onions and our scallions cut up. So we're going to set these over here next to our peppers. And now I'm going to go ahead and grab the andouille sausage. Yes, I will. Kim was asking if I needed a paper plate for that. I told her I was going to. So, guys, again, you can use the regular smoked sausage. What we've got here tonight is basically an andouille. And, of course, andouille has got a little bit more kick to it. And so that's the reason why I bought the andouille instead of just the regular smoked sausage. Because I tend to like a little bit more spicy stuff. So for tonight's dish, I'm going to go ahead and come in here, and you can do this one of 2 ways. You can either slice it and leave it like that, or you can come back in like what I'm going to do and quarter it. And then come back through and make your dices. So I find it a little bit easier to eat sausage like this other than the big pieces. Preference matter, again, we've done this before. And so we're going to do it again. So. I'm sorry?
So Riley's scavenging.
Yeah, Riley is hovering and making sure that I don't drop anything, even though he's not supposed to have andouille because of the spices in it. He just sees a sausage link and thinks, oh, it's smoked sausage. Hope everyone is getting ready for Halloween. Let everyone know a little secret that doesn't know it. On the 31st, Halloween is my birthday. So I was 11 pounds and 4 ounces whenever I was born. So props to my mom. The story is whenever I came out, Mom was asking what I were, and the doctor says it's big. So... Oops. Here you go, Riley. I know. Kim said she thinks he swallowed it whole. All right. Now, guys, I have a combination here of chicken. I had some chicken thighs that I had, and then I also had some chicken breasts. So I'm going to go ahead and use both of those just to use them up. The chicken thighs, in my opinion, is a little bit better than the chicken breast. I'm going to wash my hands real fast. So just bear that in mind. Chicken thighs, it's going to be really hard to dry those out. And again, I just prefer chicken thighs. But if you don't have chicken thighs, obviously chicken breast or tenders, which is what I called for tonight. So don't, be upset whenever I bring these thighs out here. All right, we'll start with the breast. Of course, we want to make sure that most of the fat is cut off of this. As you see here, the fat is on here. So just basically take your blade of your knife and go underneath the fat and get that cut off. Just like that. The rest of it looks pretty good. Now, we're just going to come back in here and slice those. And then we're going to turn it and dice it. Just like that. So guys, we went from the lightest to the worst. I'm sorry, that was a thigh. This is a breast here. So we started out with our vegetables. And then after the vegetables, we went to the sausage, which was pre-cooked, because you could actually just eat that out of the package if you wanted to. And then we went to the raw chicken. So that way nothing is... I should have washed this board between each use. But again, since it's just me and Kim at home, I'm not real too worried about that. But if I was at a restaurant, I would definitely want to change my thought on that. So, okay, again, chicken thigh. We're going to come in here and cut this fat off. Basically just dice and chunk this up. Oops. All right. Matter of fact, you know what? I forgot to do something. I was going to heat my oil up, wasn't I? Totally goofed. All right. I was in the groove, that's right. Happy about cutting everything up. All right, so we're going to wash this hand. Now, no, I'm not suggesting that if you have a glove on that you can wash the glove and then continue working. I'm just using the glove on here so my bandage doesn't get wet and I have to change my bandage out. All right. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to need our olive oil. We're going to come over here to our oven or stove. Move, Riley, go on. And we're going to add in just probably a little bit, about 2 tablespoons. And then we're going to get that turned on to a medium-high heat. And then we're going to let that sit. And that's the reason why I said I was going to actually do that before I prepped out the proteins. because I want that to be really hot tonight whenever we get started with it. So I'm actually using the olive oil tonight instead of the canola oil. Because I want the thickness of the olive oil that's going to be in that. This is extra virgin olive oil. I think we got this one from Sam's. Oh no, it's Private Selection, so it's Kroger's. So it's 2 liters. Again, extra virgin olive oil from Italian. Don't know how true that statement is, but nevertheless, there it is. So. So now we need this to heat up, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add into our sausage, our chicken, and our onions, and our bell peppers. So basically everything, besides my chicken, where'd my chicken go? Basically everything that we've got over here now, which is our andouille sausage, we've got our chicken cut up, we've got our bell peppers, and we've got our onions and our scallions cut up. So once this gets good and hot, we're going to add all that in together. And then we're going to let that cook until it gets a nice golden brown. And then once we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to throw in some Cajun seasoning with that. And then we're going to add the garlic and stir to combine that until it's fragrant, which usually takes about 30 seconds. We don't want that to burn though, so usually leave about 30 seconds. And then we'll start throwing in all of our liquids on top of that, which is going to be our broth, our cream, our pasta, and then a little bit more Cajun seasoning. At that point in time, I'll probably throw in my Creole seasoning. Both times of those should be hit roughly about maybe a half teaspoon, depending on your flavor and your heat element that you want. And then we're going to stir to combine, and then we're going to bring it to a boil. Then we're going to cover that pan, and then the pan, and then let it cook. That's going to be our longest time right there, because once it gets to that point, it has to cook for about 15 minutes, just to make sure that everything gets well incorporated. So again, we're waiting for this oil to get hot, and it's doing a good job because it's really runny right now. But I want it to get good and hot. So what we can go ahead and do at this point in time is go ahead and add in our onions, because I want those to start to caramelize for us. So we're going to throw those in. I've got my big wooden spoon here. Hear those start to instantly sizzle, which is a good sign. Give that a good stir, because I want this to start to break down, get tender for me, and also get translucent. Now, if you're going to finish this off in the broiler, I wouldn't add the scallions just yet. So what I would do is we're going to go through all this, get it cooked for 15 minutes so everything's nice and good. Your noodles are cooked off and they're al dente. And then what we're going to do is we're going to remove the skillet from the heat and stir in the half cup of cheese. And then we're going to top it with the remaining cheese. At that point in time, I would take my scallions and sprinkle it over the top. And then I'd throw it under the broiler until it gets nice golden bubbly, and then I'd be set. So what I'm doing with the scallions now, though, since we aren't going to finish it that way tonight, is I want those to be a little bit tender. I don't want them to be crunchy bite whenever I bite into them at the end of the plating service. So we're going to let these cook for just a few minutes. Now I will go ahead and add in my peppers, as long as I can pick them up. And get those stirred around. Oh, I missed a piece. And like I said, that color is just really popping because we used those 3 different color of bell peppers tonight, which is kind of fun. Then we've got our little bit of a pink from the scallions and then the white from the onions. Of course, the pink from the scallions might fade here in just a few minutes. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken in. Chicken's going to take a little bit longer to cook. Again, the sausage is already pre-cooked, so I really don't have to worry about that too much. But I want this chicken to obviously get cooked all the way through. So this is going to marry these flavors together, along with the scallions, the onions, and the chicken. The chicken's going to incorporate the flavor from those things, and it's going to be really good for us once we get a finished product here. So always looking for ideas for next week. If you guys are still interested in coming back in and cooking with me. Just if you have any ideas, just let me know. Go ahead and clean up some of this mess as we go. Olive oil away. Again, guys, when you're cooking chicken and chicken by itself, like maybe you've just got a breast on the grill or cooking it and frying it or something, anytime that you're cooking chicken, you want to get an internal temperature of 165 degrees. It's the hottest protein that you've got to cook. So just make sure that it's 165. That's going to kill that salmonella that's inside that chicken. So 524, so obviously this is going to take a little bit longer than 30 minutes to cook tonight. Again, most of that prep time was pretty rough. So if you need to make this in sort of a hurry and only have about 20 minutes to cook, you might want to prep all your ingredients up the night before. Which again is another reason why I won't be with you guys tomorrow. And we're doing this tonight because all the prep work that goes into a meal, especially a 4-course meal, is quite a bit. So I'm trying to get ahead of myself tomorrow and get most of that I can done. So chicken's starting to turn white, so I'm going to go ahead and add my sausage in. So that way it can start getting cooked and incorporated with our meal. Excuse me. Oops. I'll try to have a link on this uploaded probably by Saturday on my YouTube channel. So if you guys haven't checked out my YouTube channel, come on over and check it out. It's Come Cook with Joe, the same as my Facebook page. And there you can find all of my almost all my recipes that I've uploaded to Facebook. There's maybe one that I didn't upload. It just didn't turn out the way I was hoping, so. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and cover this so that he can make sure that it's cooking that chicken really well. So, all right, while we're waiting on that to cook, I'm going to go over here and grab my stuff and bring it to my stovetop. So I've got my noodles I'm going to bring over. I have got my heavy cream and my chicken broth I'm going to bring over. I've got my garlic and my Monterey Jack cheese I'm bringing over. And now I'm bringing over my Cajun spice and my Creole seasoning. So, while that's cooking now, guys, one of the things that you need to remember is that as long as you cook, sometimes if you add your seasonings at the beginning, you're going to lose some of the seasoning through the evaporation of steam. And you want to make sure that you don't add all your seasonings at once sometimes. Sometimes you do. Like whenever I'm making my chili, I'll obviously add everything in together. And then once it's in together and mixed up and stirred really good, then I'm going to go ahead and add my seasonings to it and let that all sort of marry together while it's cooking. That's why chili sometimes and spaghetti are better the next day. So because it's been able to incorporate with everything. But that's a slow, long process because I usually do my chili on the crock pot. And so it takes it quite a while to get done. So other times you want to add the seasoning right at the last part of it, so that way you have it all together. I'm going to put that right back. So just pay attention to your recipe whenever it tells you to add before, during, and after. Sometimes you'll have to add everything in the beginning. Sometimes you'll add stuff here and there. So just be aware of that. Juices are coming out of everything that's in here, which is nice. That means it's all going to be flavored really well with each other. Your chicken thighs, if you use chicken thighs, if you ever cook chicken thighs, they're going to turn out darker meat because it is a dark meat. And your breast, of course, are going to stay white and a lighter color. So it's sort of contradictory to myself whenever I look into this pot right now because I've got some dark pieces and some light pieces. Some people doesn't like dark chicken, and so they'll forego it and eat everything else. And then other people prefer dark, and then other people prefer any of it. So All right. So this is pretty much getting close to done. So now what I can do is I can add in my garlic. With this process that's going on here, you don't have to worry too much about it burning because obviously all of the sauce and everything that's in here. This calls for 3 garlic cloves of minced. So I'm going to go ahead and add those in. 1 tablespoon to this is considered 2 cloves of I'm doing it again. 2 cloves of garlic. Thank you. It's a tongue twister tonight for some reason. And I'm going to incorporate those, cook them for about 30 seconds until it becomes fragrant and aromatic. And you should be able to start to smell that garlic coming up, unless you're at my mom and dad's house, which that would never happen. We've discussed that once before, I think. All right. Now, next thing to do. We're going to go ahead and add our broth in. So I'm going to go ahead and take our broth and just set it right in here. Oops. Riley's hearing it sizzle on the side because it ran down the side of the measuring cup. I'll go ahead and incorporate that in. I will go ahead and take my heavy cream and add it in. That's looking awfully yummified. Get rid of that one. Now I will go ahead and take my pasta and get that in there. Now guys, that was 8 ounces. So the bag that we have obviously is 16 ounces, which is 1 pound. So we was talking about conversions today with me and Penny. So that's one thing to remember. It's just half the bag. The other half, it was private selection. I found that on clearance, back in our clearance section again. So I picked up a few bags of those. Kim says I'm the clearance king whenever it comes to Kroger's. So got those on now. So now the one thing we want to do is go ahead and add our extra seasoning. So if you're using Creole, I'm going to go ahead and add my Creole in now. If you want to add a little bit more Cajun, that's totally up to you. Just make sure that if you're adding the Cajun that you do it to your heat desire and don't go overboard. Emerald's Essence, which is the Creole, isn't really too spicy. It's just got a really good flavor to it. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that in, and we're going to get that stirred up. Now what we have to do is we have to get this to a boil. So I'm going to go ahead and increase the heat. And then after that point in time, we're going to cover it because I'm going to increase the heat, get it to a boil, and then I'm going to stir it up really good. And then once I do that, then I'm going to cover the skillet and reduce the heat to medium-low. And then we're going to simmer it until the pasta is tender, which is roughly about 15 minutes. So again, we're looking at 532. So it's going to be a little bit longer than 30 minutes tonight. And that's what I try to keep it at for you guys, just because I know that so many of you are busy. And I was talking to Penny today, and we was saying about, how much that we just love to cook. And that's the important part. So always make sure that you love to cook, share the passion. And the one thing that you can do is I'm trying to show you guys is that you can make some really good, desirable, fun meals in a really short period of time. A lot of times our ingredient list isn't too extensive, and hopefully some of the stuff you already have on hand. So if you've been cooking with me now for a while, then you probably have quite a bit of seasoning on hand, which is nice. So just remember to always utilize those seasonings as you go. The more seasonings you can use in some points, the more fun you're going to have. I know some people don't agree with that, but it's what I've come to realize and having fun with. So don't be afraid to experiment, and don't be afraid to try new things. Who knows, the experiment that you think might be a big goof up is one of your favorite meals that you come in contact with. So that's how recipes are made, guys. All right, so we got a nice boil on here. So I'm going to reduce this to a low and keep it with a nice simmer. So I'm going to go ahead and stir it one last time. And then I'm going to cover it, and then I'm going to let it cook until those noodles are al dente. So, or in some cases, it'll be a little bit further than al dente. It depends on how you like it. As Kim says, because I know she doesn't like too many things that are al dente.
My pasta shouldn't crunch.
Huh?
My pasta shouldn't crunch.
Kim says her pasta shouldn't crunch. All right, we're going to go ahead and get rid of some of this stuff. Save the cheese and the garlic. Not that I need the garlic anymore. Okay. Let's clean up that water a little bit. Oh, this is chicken broth, huh? So with the holidays fast approaching again, like I said, guys, last time we brought up the idea about actually doing some desserts and some treats and candies. We'll probably look into that. I know that Penny, I think this weekend was going to try to do either the Buckeye brownies and do them in like muffin tins, or she was actually going to make the Buckeyes. So again, that's one thing I probably end up doing once we get closer to the middle of November and then into December. And then that way, if you guys have got, Lord, hopefully we'll have some get-togethers during Christmas time, and you guys can take some stuff in and cook it. So,
DeWine's canceling Christmas.
Kim says DeWine's canceling Christmas this year. So we'll see what happens. Well, it wasn't his fault that Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown got canceled. That was Apple's fault. So, yep, they got greedy, that's for sure. So most nights whenever we cook, Kim and I will usually have our music on in the background and have something to listen to and cook with. Unfortunately, Facebook won't let me do that. Neither will YouTube, for that matter, because they don't have the rights to the songs that's playing in the background. So. Again, guys, if you weren't going to finish this way, so how we're going to finish this tonight, if you guys remember, I believe it was either the last meal or the meal before, we took the lid off, we added the cheese, we put the lid back on, and then the residual heat from that just melted the cheese on top. Same principle we're going to do tonight. Again, I just didn't want the scallions to be real crunchy, and so I went ahead and threw them in with the onions so they became translucent and tender. And then that way it should be, you're still going to get the flavor, but you aren't going to get the bite really if they were on top. So difference here, don't throw the scallions in, just leave them off. Once we get done with this process, we're going to throw the cheese on top of this, and then you'd sprinkle the scallions around. You'd throw it in your oven under broil, and I would probably broil low, and do that until the cheese gets really melty and bubbly and brown. And then once you do that, then your meal's complete. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple of plates. I think we'll do plates tonight. You can probably do this in a bowl, but I want to see what it looks like on a plate. And again, we're going to throw the cheese on top here in a little bit and let that melt down.
Aren't you supposed to put some of it in and melt it and then put some on top?
Kim was asking if we were supposed to stir some in. It's after the noodles gets cooked. So once the noodles gets cooked, we're going to add half the cheese in and stir it up. And then after that happens, then we're going to top with the remaining cheese, sprinkle the scallions if you was, and then broil those out. So a little different.
Don't forget the thing for your burning.
That's not hot yet. Kim was reminding me to grab a hot pad because that metal part on the handle gets really, really hot. That's just a bad design flaw. It really gets hot. If they made it silicone all the way across, it wouldn't get hot and you wouldn't have to worry about it. So guys, as this cooks, obviously the low simmer and the boil that it's under right now is going to continue to reduce this and make our sauce a little bit thicker. And of course, once we add the cheese in on top of that, it's going to obviously melt and make it thick too. So right now we're just, again, waiting for those noodles to become al dente, roughly about 15 minutes. And then we'll add our half of cheese into the dish. We'll top it with the other cheese, put the lid back on, and melt that cheese out. And then we'll plate it. So I'm glad you guys came in tonight. I'm really excited that we got to cook together, and always enjoy these evenings, even whenever it's not traditionally on Thursday. but at least we're able to meet out during the week and do this. So again, if you aren't able to watch, obviously you can always go back to our Come Cook with Joe Facebook channel and watch it there, because I obviously upload it live here, right? And then, well, I guess it's on my feed. And then from that point in time, I upload it to my YouTube channel. And you guys are more than welcome to come over there and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way, whenever I upload a new video, you guys always have the first priority to get notification that it's there. So, finishing out the week. Again, tomorrow is my last day of work, which is going to be kind of nice. And then prep work on tomorrow, and then Friday I will be cooking all day long. So that'll be nice and fun. Checking these noodles, seeing where we're at. So by this time, whenever we was cooking the chicken, obviously, we got it to almost the done state, and then once we added everything in, then the chicken should be done by now at 165. So another thing that you guys could do a little bit different is, instead of adding the vegetables first, because I was really waiting for that oil to get hot and tried to save some time, is add your proteins in first and make sure that they get cooked nice and brown. And then once those start to brown on you, then you can throw the vegetables in on top of it. So a couple different ways to cook this. You'll just have to go back and check out the channel again and make sure that how it is good for you. So maybe just a few more minutes here, and then we'll add the cheese in. So I'll go ahead and open that and get it ready. And then here comes Riley. Because Riley is a cheese hoarder just like me. Oh, but I can't get it. There we go. Try not to rush those noodles. Kim's calling me a hater now. All right. All right, I got one to cut pretty easily. So that's my test. If I don't show up to work tomorrow, you guys know what happened. I'm going to throw half the bag in here of the Monterey Jack. Again, a little bit, not really hot, just a different flavor. Get that stirred up. Make sure that all melts nice. That, again, of course, is going to thicken up our sauce just a tad bit. Now, again, guys, the longer you cook this sauce, the thicker it's going to become. So I know tonight it's going to look a little bit runny. I'm just trying to, for the sake of time, help you guys out and get this plated so you guys can see what's going on. It might not hurt to go into a bowl, though. Honey, would you mind switching those out for me? It's going to almost more be like a soup. Again, guys, the more you cook this, the more you boil it, the thicker that's going to become. So,
Which ones do you want?
oh, it doesn't matter. Going to take the rest of our cheese now and lay it right here on top. I'm going to go ahead and kill the heat, and then I'm going to set the top right back on there. And that residual heat's just going to melt that cheese for us to a gooey goodness. And I think I might even switch out. No, I won't, because it's metal. I'm going to keep my spoon here. Just give that about a minute to a minute and a half. Let that melt down for us real good. And then once that melts down, then we'll go ahead and get it plated into our bowls. And then we'll get you guys around for the send-off. So, roughly about 45 minutes tonight. Again, with the prep, it took quite a bit of time to get through the prep. And then, of course, cooking it off. This is really one of the longest parts that we've got here. So just remember that if you're going to use this for a quick dinner meal, you might want to prep out your stuff the night before. That way it's good and ready to go. So our cheese is melted. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my spoon and our bowls here. And we'll go ahead and get this in our bowls. So again, guys, if you are doing this at home, make sure that you just let that sit and boil for a while. If not, you're going to have this Italian soup, or this Cajun soup, which isn't going to be bad. But we'll just have to switch up from a fork to a spoon. The dribbles here. And dribbles here.
Potato soup sounds good. You don't like
Well, we made potato soup just the other day. Oh, well, it was a potato chowder, I guess.
It was a corn chowder.
It was a corn chowder, but it had potatoes in it. So, anyways, all right, guys. So here we go. We've got the Cajun chicken pasta, and hope you guys enjoyed having some fun with me tonight. A little colorful dish, which is kind of fun. And again, there's different ways that you can finish this and even cook it throughout the time. So just choose which one you like best. If you don't want it soupy like this, just make sure that you're boiling it down quick. Well, not quick, but you're boiling it down for a while. So I'm going to get you guys turned around for the send-off. So hang on, and here we go. So, guys, thanks for coming in. Again, Wednesday instead of Thursday. It's a little crazy, but this week was just sort of off. But I appreciate everyone showing up tonight, and hope you had a good time. I had a good time. It was a really good pleasure cooking with you guys tonight. Like I said, next week we'll be thinking about something to do. And until then, be looking for the list of ingredients. And until next week, I'll see you guys later. Take care.